Nevertheless, this ring pass not allows the living light to return back to its original source, thus creating a perfect cycle of outpouring light and incoming light until its entire circumference becomes marked by pure light. This ends one round of the perpetual, ongoing architectural work that is being conducted by the universal architect at the center of all that is. In this process, the light that is constantly going out is considered the descending part or face, which only marks half of the entire cosmic process. And in turn, the returning light that is bouncing off the ring past not barrier is considered the ascension part of the return of light back to its pure source. This process did not happen overnight, although in the eyes of God it did, for all time is relevant, and happening at the same time in the higher levels of the always existing spheres. However, from a third dimensional perspective, it took eons and billions of what we call Earth years for this process to unfold. In fact, it is well known now by most esotericists and mystics that the long descension process, or what the Eastern teachers have called the outbreath of the expanding godlight, is finally over. We are now experiencing the in-breath, or the coming back of light, as the ascension process takes effect. This explains why our planet is ascending at this time. Secondly, the ascension phase is also the in-breath of God, marked by the second part of this universal process, for what goes out eventually returns back to its source, as indicated by the universal law of return. The ascension process could also be known as the electrification or spiritualization of matter, as described in the Keys of Enoch, which is in progress as the Earth's frequencies raises into the higher dimensions. It's very, I guess this is a time for me to say that the Earth, just like ourselves, is a living being with her own chakras and her own energy systems, and also capable of existing in other frequencies. There's parts of Earth that exist in these higher dimensional frequencies. And so what this is telling us is that the Earth is raising from the third dimensional vibrational Earth plane as we know it into the fourth, fifth, and higher dimensional planes of reality, allowing for the coexistence of these higher dimensional beings that were wrongly classified in mythology as gods, or what are known in the ancient records as celestial beings, to once again coexist with mankind. And this is now, there is scientific evidence that the Earth is going through some sort of some sort of energetic shift that is not only the Earth, but the entire solar system, our sun, the entire polarity of our sun is shifting as well into this higher dimension. So our sun also exists in other dimensions. So we do live in a multi-dimensional reality, not just regarding ourselves, but also regarding the planets and the solar system that we live in, the galaxy and the universe. And so at this time, our universe is going through some sort of harmonic convergence, allowing the frequency vibration to change to a different plane of reality. And that is part of the reason why we are living in the times of the known as the fullness of times, in which all timelines coincide, allowing something new to begin. So as I continue, this is going to allow you to really understand what the true significance of the Mayan calendar is, what the true significance of the return of the planet X or Nibiru is, and the true significance of the prophecies as far as the return of the celestial beings or angels, whatever you want to call them, and also as to why we are going to be entering the space age overnight. The descent phase could be scientifically and metaphysically considered the evolution of evolution, or in the higher mysteries, the descent of spirit light into matter material, which is the true metaphysical meaning of the fall of light beings, those becoming man material. In fact, human beings are the end result product of this descent of wholesome light beings into the lower levels of the material spheres. Therefore, from the top down, mankind originated as a whole light being in the celestial spheres, living without any concept of time as we know it today. In fact, time is a byproduct of linear limited consciousness and only exists within the confines of the third dimension. On the contrary, time is non-existent in the dimensions higher than the fourth. In light of this, we may conclude that mankind's true origins was in the always existing spheres of pure light, when we were all part of a primal singular energy field. Out of this primal energy field, we began to become individualized units of energy, as the first phase of the descent occurred when the middle heavens were formed. It was then that we became spiritual etheric beings with no material form yet. In fact, in our original state as light beings, we did inherit form until the creation or extension of the lower heavens, the material spheres, which is also composed of three major spheres or planes of reality. Apparently, every major plane of existence is divided by the magical three, all the way to the point where even man's composition consists of three major aspects: spirit, mind, and body. It was in the second phase of existence that different grades of light energy came to exist, as when light goes through the prism reflecting multiple spectral radiations. In science, this conversion of the one light into the different spectral colors is what allowed all descending immortal beings of light, or sparks of divinity, to take form to accommodate our new environment as we first began operating with etheric vehicles. Today, we may identify etheric matter with dark matter. And this is again where the esoteric knowledge is merging with cutting-edge science. These were and are our energy bodies that we use in the etheric spheres when we were intelligences without a physical form of flesh and bones. And they were five. So there are five different bodies that have been revealed in the secret knowledge that are connected all the way down to our physical body. And these were what we were in our original state of existence before we became flesh. According to the Keys of Nanak, the Book of Knowledge, they are known as the electromagnetic body of light, the Gematrian body of light, the Akka body of light, the Sohar body of light, and the Overself Christ body of light. Again, these bodies are not to be considered physical, material, for they are energetic vehicles to be used in the higher realms, worlds of the etheric spheres, or what science would consider dark matter. In the aftermath of the conversion of pure light essences into ether, the material planes finally came into being as the lower heavens were formed into existence. It was during this phase that the descending celestial beings, the light etheric beings, or us then, needed a material vehicle. This vehicle has been revealed through the restored knowledge as the perfect embodiment known as the Adam Catman. It became the last energy matter manifestation for the descending light beings that had their origin in the always existing spheres of the central universe, those correcting our true origin as made in the image of God. We may now state that the first Adam, our ancestor, was a light being, a full conscious spiritual being, who existed first in the eighth dimension of perfected material form, or that descended from the higher dimensions into the eighth dimension of perfected material form to inherit his physical form as the Adam Catman. And this is also a projection of the intended form that later developed into the flesh before it incarnated into a lower vibrational frequency body that became flesh and bones, and that was like the final descent of the higher dimensions into these physical forms. So there's physical reality, there's physical vehicles on every level. In the material spheres all the way up to the 12 dimensions, beings are both light and energy, light and matter at the same time. And then beyond the 12 dimensional spheres, as we get into the higher regions of dark matter and dark energy, or etheric and celestial spheres, which comprise dimensions that are beyond our current reach right now, as we only exist within the 5 and 6% of the full spectrum of this light energy, that don't even, where bodies don't exist as we know them, as flesh and bones. At that point, we are considered energy beings that are able to take or manifest any form that we please. So, in the aftermath of the conversion of pure light essence into ether, the material planes finally came into being as the lower heavens were formed into existence. It was during this phase that the descending light etheric beings, us, needed a material vehicle. This vehicle has been revealed through the restored knowledge as the perfect embodiment, the Adam Catman. We may now state that the first Adam, our ancestor, was a light being, a full conscious spiritual being who first existed in the eighth dimension of perfect material form of refined matter.